Welcome back. Good Thursday morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. I'm Maria Bartiromo, and I hope you're having a great morning. It is Thursday, July 9th. It is 8 a.m. on the button on the East Coast. President Trump appearing to have a change of heart on conducting business with Spain following his meeting with the Spanish Prime Minister and other top NATO leaders in Turkey this week. Watch this.
You had issues with, you said you had issues with leaders of Spain, UK.
Yeah. Spain, I will say I did have issues with
Also
Spain,
Germany.
and I still do. But Spain, they came back all the way today. Spain was very generous today. You know, I told them I'm going to stop trading.
What did Spain do there?
They honored a request for lots of payment. And if they didn't, we wouldn't even talk to them. They were very bad. They behaved very badly, in my opinion. But there was great unity in that room today.
This following the president's comments earlier in the day, threatening to halt all trade relations with Madrid over its refusal to meet the 5% defense spending target. Watch this.
Spain has been very bad. They just had a bad moment. They didn't help us. Now, in all fairness, I didn't speak to Mark about it. I think if I did, it might have been different, but we didn't need help. But I was really testing. I didn't speak to Spain. Spain is a wasted cause. We don't want to do any trade business with Spain anymore, by the way. I'd like you to cut it off. Spain is a terrible partner in NATO. They don't participate. They don't pay. I don't want anything to do with Spain. Cut off all trade with Spain, please, including visits.
Joining me now is the United States Trade Representative Jamieson Greer at the White House. Jamieson, great to have you this morning. Welcome back.
Hi, Maria. Good to be with you.
What is the state of relations with Spain right now? What do we need to understand about trade with Spain?
I think one thing that we need to understand, and it's not just with Spain, it's more broadly, as we work with our trading partners, if they want to have access to the U.S. market and they want to have a constructive trading relationship with us, they also have to be aligned when it comes to economic security and other things. We can't have a situation where countries spurn us on national security matters and expect to trade normally. Now, fortunately, it sounds like the president and his team, based on what I've heard from my colleagues who are with him, have been able to find a path forward with Spain. But we certainly have prepared options for countries that reject national security alignment with the president.
Yeah. Great points all around on national security, for sure. Look, it's a big month for you, for your portfolio. July focused on trade with the first trilateral USMCA meeting this week, or last week, the third round of bilateral negotiations between the U.S. and Mexico, and the Section 122 tariff expiration, likely replacement with Section 301. I want to get your take on all of that, because I know you told us to expect this, and that's exactly what happened, that the White House opted out of renewing the USMCA trade deal for an additional 16 years, instead triggering an annual review process running through 2036. When we spoke last about this, you told me that you would expect bilaterals, U.S.-Mexico and U.S.-Canada. Tell us what the next phase of this review looks like.
You're exactly right, Maria. This was no surprise to anybody. I've been socializing for months. The president's been quite vocal that we have issues with USMCA, with its implementation, with some of the text that we think would need to be changed or improved. And so that's where we are. Next steps on this, we go into negotiations. So when we don't renew the agreement, it's not a cliff where, you know, the North American economy falls apart. What it is an opportunity to speak with our counterparts and try to improve the trading relationship. And by the way, it's already happened. Since last year, the president, in some ways, has already overwhelmed USMCA by imposing tariffs on Canada and Mexico, on automobiles, on steel and aluminum. And we're already seeing Toyota has announced that it's shifting some production from Mexico to the United States. Our steel exports and our production are up. And so we've already seen the very relationship between Canada, the United States, and Mexico change, even while we're still in the midst of negotiations.
So what specifically do you want to see in terms of change from Mexico, for example? Putting that manufacturing boom aside, because that's a huge part of the story, I agree. Getting the supply chains to America is huge for American citizens. But are there other changes that you can discuss with us that you want to see happen with Mexico and separately with Canada?
Well, we're certainly focused on outcomes. When I talked to the president about Mexico, he emphasizes the need to get our trade deficit with Mexico down. You've heard me talk about trade deficits a lot. We focus on our global deficit, certainly, but of course a global deficit is also made up of bilateral deficits with countries, and so we are quite focused on that. I met with my Mexican counterpart yesterday. He was here in Washington, and we spent a lot of time talking about how we can find more balanced trade between the United States and Mexico. One of the ways we can do this is by making sure that the rules of origin associated with the agreement are very strong, that they promote having U.S. content, and that they prevent having content from Asia and other places. We don't want to be giving preferential treatment to goods going back and forth the U.S.-Mexico border if they don't have a lot of U.S. content, or if they're mostly content from third countries. That's not what we want. So we need to strengthen those rules, make sure that U.S. content gets the due that it's warranted.
And I know that you're going to be briefing Congress on USMCA in a couple of weeks, July 21st. But I want to get your take on broadly your investigations that have been underway. The president has suggested that several agreements are close. What can you tell us in terms of which country you're looking at in terms of these investigations, and when we might see a tangible concession or deal that is new?
So remember, for his entire second term, and of course even in his first term, the president has been focused on addressing the trade deficit. And we know that that trade deficit is driven in part by unfair trade and economic practices. So we're conducting investigations under Section 301, an authority that the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative has. We have investigations right now of Canada and Mexico regarding forced labor laws. In the first term, when we redid NAFTA, we actually convinced Canada and Mexico to adopt laws preventing the import of goods made with forced labor. We have those types of laws here in America. We have for 100 years. No one else in the world has them, and if they do, they don't enforce them. I know it's hard to believe that. So we're very focused on getting other countries to do this, including Canada and Mexico. We have a hearing. Our final hearing is going on this week on that matter, and we expect soon to have a final result on how we're going to try to really get countries to protect against forced labor so we can have a level playing field in the United States.
And you say we'll have a formal result and sort of a framework here over the near term?
That's right. I think in the coming weeks you'll see that. We had our final hearings are happening as we speak, and you'll be able to see, we put out our preliminary findings, and the findings are exactly what I said. Along all the countries we investigated, and there are 60 of them, 60, almost none of them have forced labor laws in place to protect against this scourge, and those that do have not effectively enforced them. We'll put out our final report. Again, I don't want to be too prescriptive on the timeline, but I would say relatively soon. And then everyone will be able to see the strong action that the president is taking to try to do this. I mean, we think about Abraham Lincoln. He was against slavery. He was for tariffs. President Trump, similarly, he's for tariffs, and he is against forced labor. And we're trying to deal with this scourge.
Yeah, it's funny when people get so hysterical over tariffs when, in fact, you go to the beginning of the origins of this country. Tariffs were a major piece of policy that were used and used quite effectively, as President Trump obviously knew and knows very well. Let me get your take on China. I know you've worked on that a bit as well. Of course, Secretary Bessent's also dealing with the Chinese, but we've got reports and news that China has purchased more U.S. soybeans, and the reports show that the state-owned trading firm of China booked at least another 5 cargoes overnight for loading, mainly between September and October. Jamieson, what can you tell us about this? It's purchased more U.S. soybeans, extending a wave of buying as agricultural trade between the two economies gathers some steam, even as we question China's behavior and undermining the United States.
What this shows is that the president's China strategy is working. In the administration, as you know, we are very clear out about China. Nobody's been tougher on China than President Trump. At the same time, we all know we have to manage this relationship. We all know that it can be a great destination for certain American goods, aircraft, medical devices, machinery, and of course, agricultural goods. Soybeans in particular. President Xi and President Trump made a deal last October. They reconfirmed it a couple of months ago that China is going to buy 25 million metric tons of soybeans every year for the duration of President Trump's presidency. And so we have already seen, as you mentioned, that China's in the market. They're buying American soybeans. I think it was 500,000 metric tons that they purchased. And this is important too, because right now Brazilian soybeans notionally, I think their price might be a little bit lower. So this shows that the Chinese really are committed. They understand that President Trump is going to enforce the deal and hold them to their word.
Yeah, and we saw new tariffs on Brazil in June. We saw the 232 metal tariff carve-outs and a proposed 301 tariff replacement on the expiring 122 section. What can you tell us in terms of where you're going to go once that tariff expires?
Well, you mentioned the Brazil action. That's exactly right. Again, this week we're having our final hearing on that, and so I've been speaking with the Brazilians. We've been trying to negotiate. I think there's still a lot of distance between us, so you'll see final action very soon on Brazil, because we have a statutory deadline of July 15th where we have to put out our results of that investigation and our decision on tariffs for Brazil, potential tariffs. With the Section 122 tariffs expiring, as you know, that was a temporary authority that Congress gave to the president. He exercised that to deal with balance of payments issues. That's expiring on July 24th. The president's trade policy remains the same, though. Whether it was with his initial reciprocal tariffs or with the balance of payments, we're trying to get at these issues that have distorted the global trading system and hurt American workers and producers. And so even now with our Section 301 investigations, whether it's the forced labor investigation I mentioned or our ongoing investigation about structural excess capacity across several of our major trading partners, the president is trying to get at these issues that have distorted global trade and harmed American workers, and he's going to do it by hook or by crook. Yeah,
and Jamieson, you mentioned a couple of important items that the U.S. imports, and I want to ask you about that because President Trump was so spot on when he encouraged corporate America to get their supply chains here to America. What is the next industry that you want to target for reshoring in America? Is it pharmaceuticals? Is it semiconductors, shipbuilding? Is it, rare earth critical minerals? These are all things that are obviously national security issues, and it's just incredible to me that for so many years, decades, we've been relying on our number one adversary, the Chinese, to actually get our prescription drugs.
Well, you listed off a bunch of sectors, and my answer is all of the above. For example, I mentioned meeting with my counterpart from Mexico yesterday. Part of what we discussed is how do we get these supply chains back to North America. We have a lot of reshoring going on in pharmaceuticals right now. A lot of that is in the final finishing and fill and manufacture. There are a lot of key starting materials and components of pharmaceuticals that still come from China, or they come from India, but even they use inputs from China. We want to make sure that we're not dependent on Asia and really distant and fragile supply lines for something so important. And so I'm talking to my Mexican counterpart. How do we balance trade, but how do we also do it in a way that brings some of that production to the United States? If there's production that's challenging in the U.S. for environmental reasons, is it something that can be done in Mexico? The reality is we're bringing these supply chains back. Pharmaceuticals is a major one. Semiconductors is another. We've had two great announcements in the past few days, from both Micron and Apple and Broadcom about reshoring semiconductor manufacturing here. So across all of these key sectors, we're targeting plans to reshore, and we're seeing action right now.
Well, what would you say to a CEO like, for example, Apple, Tim Cook, who argues it's not practical to move all manufacturing back to the United States? What is he missing?
Well, it's a short-term view. It doesn't account for the long-term geopolitical risks. It doesn't account for the long-term economic risks. I mean, think about what's happening right now. The United States, we've had tariffs on China, substantial tariffs since 2018, and so it has driven supply chains servicing the U.S. market to diversify. And so we haven't imported this little from China since 2004. So we have been working at diversifying. But look at what's happening with the Europeans right now. They have a big trade deficit with China. It's getting larger, and they haven't taken action. So if you're a CEO and you're looking at this situation, it means you have to diversify your supply chains. Again, people are going to buy and sell with China. People are going to buy and sell with Vietnam. But if you want to have a durable supply chain for the long term and avoid some of those longer term risks, you need to diversify. You need to be closer to the market where you're serving.
Yeah, I think it's a great point because Vietnam has become a major alternative to China for some of these companies. And I wonder if people are worried that these companies are just moving production from one low-cost place to another low-cost place and instead of just bringing it home. Jamieson, and I know that you've been working on that, opening the Section 301 investigation involving Vietnam as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
Vietnam, we actually have three open Section 301 investigations regarding Vietnam. The one on forced labor we talked about,
yeah.
one on structural excess capacity, and then one on intellectual property protections. Vietnam is not a place that has very robust intellectual property protections, and so when our companies do business there, it challenges them on that front too.
Sure. Jamieson, great to talk with you this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
And to you. Jamieson Greer at the White House. We'll be right back.